What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're doing well. And who are the most wrecked people in crypto? They are traders, right? Traders get wrecked. I mean, I occasionally trade, and more times than not, either I close out a trade or, I get stomped out. Now, don't be a pawn to that game. If you are in profit, right? And it's easy to print from a trade that's going well your way, all right? In a macro uptrend, you'd feel like a genius, but do not feel like a genius, because you'll get stopped out, you lose your money, you put more money back in, desperation will come in, and then it's going to be raced to the bottom before you have no money, right? So today you can see the market has pulled back. However, there's plenty of things going on, and I'm going to give you the advice of the day, and it doesn't really come from me. Okay, it comes from Raoul Pal. Let's just play this clip real quick and you'll understand why more people who are macro investors basically make more money. That's why you don't get a lot of billionaire traders in this space. Check this out.
Looking at tick charts and minute charts and hourly chart, they're just not going to help you. Everybody thinks they can be a trader because they see Ansem or somebody online and they think, oh, I'm going to make 100x, I'm going to do this, I'm going to trade in, trade out. When the reality is the true wealth in this space, true wealth in all businesses, are people who just buy and hold. If you look at what's happened in the last 3 years over the bull market, from the bottom of 2022 through to today, it's essentially been a Bitcoin dominance game. So just owning Bitcoin has been the best bet, except for 2 asset allocation shifts, basically. And then after a while, they get used to the volatility and they become numb to it. So then you start saying, okay, listen, only use the top 3 or 4 projects. My fear is that Bitcoin only goes down 40% this cycle and everybody sells out and says, well, I can buy it down 70. Isn't this an easy game? And it doesn't go down 70, it doesn't go down 60, it doesn't go down 50, it goes down 40. And then it takes off again as liquidity comes and everybody's caught offside.
Absolutely. And that goes for assets in the top 100, in my opinion. If you held something like a Solana or, I don't know, ETH or whatever from previous cycles, the chances are the application of mindset replies to you. We're in crypto for a couple of cycles normally to make the big money. Of course, in between that, you do gamble, but overall, position yourself in things you can hold long term. Now, of course, as a small cap hunter as well, there's always a balance. So, for example, in my portfolio, I hold the likes of Kaspa, Sui, Tau. I anchor my portfolio to those. Then, of course, large caps like Arwe, for example, that I talk about. Now, there's those idiots who don't actually evolve their portfolio, who continue to buy micro caps regardless of the weather. Then obviously, you have no right to make it in crypto, okay? Including the ones that keep listing projects in my comments. And listen, if you've been watching me since, 2023, 2022, then you'd understand exactly what I hold, and that is the best way to spread your risk. But anyway, let's keep it moving. The market has pulled back. I do have other things for you that are considerably more important than that. Okay, according to Adam over here, let's bonk, launch labs, pump fun. The competition for Solana meme coins is never been crazy. For the first time ever, Pump Fun is facing a real competition from launch labs. They should have never pissed off Radium, okay? And again, tweet from Anson here. Okay, so much the reason to panic if you have missed the move until now. If you believe that we are again shifting to bullish environment, then none of these coins have even made a new all-time high yet, and most have not left their accumulation ranges. Exactly, and that's what I'm actually saying to idiots who keep posting stupid comments. Micro caps haven't even moved yet, right? So A, you're not diversified enough, and B, you're pissed off because your coin hasn't moved, because in the last 4 years, you've not positioned yourself as a small, medium, micro cap portfolio. All you've done is you've went greedy and you started to load up on the slightly more risky coins. They will come good, like Ansem is saying here. But, of course, bullish environment. None of these coins have yet made new all-time highs, and most have not left their accumulation ranges to start a new trend. Facts. Absolutely facts. Bit of good news. Patel Real Estate launches 100 million tokenized fund on Chintai blockchain, and that is very bullish. And RWA is going to be quite massive, guys. Of course, we've got CPI forecast, CPI data coming up. And of course, you've got hedge funds that got liquidated. And I love this. Hedge funds were long on the volatility, short US dollar, short equities, and short Bitcoin before US-China trade deal agreement was announced. And boy, oh boy, did they get wrecked. Did they get wrecked? Longs, VIX have increased over the last month, of course. So it's not just us playing that game and getting wrecked, guys. You know, there's other more established entities that are getting their butts handed to them. And of course, VIX below 20 is another clue. The worst is over. Of course, we knew that. And as a result, Bitcoin did what it had to do, and it bloody crushed people by dropping significantly yesterday from 105. And of course, right now we are chilling at 102. But look at this, you know, the weekly chart looks amazing. And the daily chart, of course, slightly red. But, you know, even if it pulls back to the high 90s, it doesn't really matter, guys. We are continuing to go into the right only. So, yeah, great times to be in BTC. Of course, you've got Kaspa's monumental move that was confirmed, that I confirmed yesterday. Of course, Kaspa now sitting at a respectable 1182, and we really need to see an all-time high for Kaspa. Of course, get above this 200-day moving average, and you are well on your way to breaking this all-time high. Sui, as always, has a lot of people were shorting Sui last night. A lot of my friends were shorting Sui. But nearly $4, man. Sui all-time high is just a whisker away. And for the community, I'm going to be able to deliver another 10x exactly at this price over here. Congratulations to all of the people, particularly those who've decided to pull the trigger and went all in when I gave this buy alert all the way from the lows of here. So, you know, sooner or later, you know, ready or not, here I come. There you go. There's your clean, life-changing money over there. And like I said yesterday, Sui has flipped in my portfolio to a level that I wish I bought more, because I bought a significant bag of Sui very early, sold it, bought back into it. And one of the reasons was, I think, you know, at the time, CoinW made a video that was... It was kind of like a FUD, you know. They presented it as Sui not being... And, you know, to be honest, the Coin Bureau are fantastic because they're very, very much neutral. They're factual. But at the time, they were discussing the Sui price being... Sui not being decentralized enough and not having enough nodes. And this was apparently an issue with regulators. I think people forget that anyway. But the price of Sui was the low 10s, mid 20s, right? I'm talking about 2023 because I farm Sui NFTs from December to February 2022. December 23 to February 22. They introduced the NFTs, Sui name services as well. So been in there for a long time, but I'm about to deliver a clean 10x from recent lows, and this is going to be quite incredible. At $7, we will be absolutely walking away with life-changing money. So big up to the Sui crew. Of course, we did talk about CAS making new all-time highs, and it's coming. CAS's new all-time highs should be very imminent because, again, there is one more level that we highlighted here in the red that CAS has to fly over. But once you claim and flip this, CAS's price and fortunes will be attacking from where we are today to this new all-time high. And ultimately for CAS, man, look, it's very difficult to It's very, very hard to sometimes go and say, look, this is going to do it 100%. But could this project, could it realistically go and smash, crazy levels? Only God can judge me. But Casper to $1 is not, it's not worse than what you think. It could happen, right? And it's going to be very difficult, in my opinion, because what's going to happen is this 618, this is going to be an area where I would be selling a lot of my Casper bags. I'm just telling you that now because up there's not going to be enough oxygen for me to keep holding. But if you look at this whole entire range, once we go above 30 cents, right? I know people are looking for $2 to $5, but they're gonna F you up if you listen to them. This is the area of interest to sell CAS. For me, that is between 70, so between 80 to start taking heavy profits. And if we come up here, then we come up there. All right. Now, potentially, Casper, $1 to $3 is what I've said. Of course, that's what I think. And I will be revising my thesis along the way. But Casper, if you're wise, you'd start to DCA out between kind of 40 cents, 30, 40 cents. Take little profits, man. Pay yourself. You better check yourself before you wreck yourself, is what I would say. Because, people like fucking, what's his name? That guy in... what's that guy? That funny guy, the American guy. Casper to $10. Crypto Galaxy. Yeah, that's the one. He's gonna F people up because he's gonna say Casper is gonna go to $10. And there's wallets that hold hundreds and hundreds of millions of Casper, man. You need to go and see the Casper rich list. So my exact plan for Casper is to start taking profits above 40 cents like a G and scale it all the way to 80 cents. So I'm well below $1 and then leave my moon bag for my original $1 to $3 prediction. This is exactly when I will sell Casper. And I'm telling you, you're going to get a lot of Moon Boy stuff. And first of all, Casper is going to do its all-time high very imminently. I think within this week or next week, if the market keeps moving, Casper will be well above that all-time high, right? But as a brother, as somebody who knows the game, I'm telling you now, 40 cents and above, I'm going to start scaling out 80 cent, above 50% again, psychological levels. I'm going to scale out and then I will keep my specific, maybe I will keep a $250,000 or whatever percentage that I have left, and I will wait for because Casper is generational. I can hold Casper. If prices come back down, it doesn't matter for me, because I'll be selling the large majority, putting money in my daughter's pockets and putting food in my family's table, taking them out for a holiday, enjoying life, because I'm sick and tired of waiting for these things to pop off. But Casper has and will break its all-time high. And when it starts moving, those NPCs in the comments, the pussios amongst you, will come back here and say, oh, but you said it was $1 to $3. No, I'm taking my profits from 40 cents all the way up to 80 very heavily. And then I'm going to wait, chill out for a minute, and keep a nice bag for $1 to $3 PVP. There is no air above these levels, right? This is the Himalayas, okay? And for those of you who don't know, let me just show you something, right? So this is K1, all right? This is Mount Everest, okay? At higher grounds, the oxygen levels are very low. And this is your crypto chart. So you want to tell your family you're going to scale K1 and you're going to go to the summit, but then you're a smart guy, right? Or a girl. And you start to realize that you know, as you go up, you start finding skeletons all over the place. You find this skeleton here, you find that skeleton over there, and then you tell the Sherpas, man, take me back to terra firma, man. This is there's no air up here. And then your mate says, no, mate, I'm going up. There's plenty of, I want to take a picture here. Yeah, I want to go to the summit. Man's going to take a nice picture. And of course, I'm going to make that achievement happen. So you're like, mate, look, we're in base camp 1. This is good enough. We've taken pictures. There's a nice picture of Everest right there behind us. Friggin' hell, everyone knows that we've made it here. And we could just tell people that the camera batteries died and we went to the summit. And your friend says, nah, you know what? You are one hell of a pussy. Get back down, right? And look at my Instagram. So he starts hiking. Obviously, weather gets bad. And, they lose the group. And before you know, God forbid, like anything, but he kind of passes away, gets lost. And even if he's found anyway, it's not a happy experience. All right. Remember that analogy. As you get up to these higher levels of base camp, doesn't that look like a mountain anyway? Any chart that you look at and you start scaling up, man, come back down with the Sherpas, will you? I've been your host. I hope you like this video. I hope it gives you a sense of reality, because otherwise you're getting wrecked. Smash a like, guys, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. God bless.